So there's a lot of talk about manifestation, and obviously I don't agree with most of it. So I come here to share my take on it from an honest and in-depth point of view, without bypassing effort, our traumatized childhoods, and realities from our social context, systemic oppression, and so on. Let's go. So, like a lot of people, I've been interested in manifestation for a long time or at different points in my life, and normally for the wrong reasons, also like most people. But I will talk about this later. I just think the problem with how manifestation is talked about lies before or beneath, behind, beyond this concept that most people associate with the word manifestation. We are living in the manifested reality. We are living an expression of essence in a horizontal material reality. So we are constantly co creating the present moment. And we have to talk about it very carefully because I just think the way most people talk about it, it's directly harmful or dangerous, and it just doesn't go in depth enough. To start with, we are all victims to these systems we've created, some more than others. But systemic oppression is real. Generational trauma is real. We have a lot of things to consider before actually going into the part of responsibility and power we do have to create our desired reality. A lot of these manifestation tactics and practices don't take into account that the present moment is all we have. You have to stop trying to achieve for a future, and because that just doesn't work. Anyone who has tried enough times knows it doesn't work. We are always faced and confronted with the present moment, part of which is never in our hands. We are also only human. So we have to understand this dance between creating and letting go. This dialogue in Taoism is called Wu Wei. It's basically knowing, just staying super aware so that you know when you have the chance to act and when you just have to accept to go with the flow. It's waiting patiently until the time is right to act. Be water. It's not realistic to always be striving to get whatever outcome in the future and not burn out, end up unhappy. If you get your whatever you desire, not enjoy it or not be able to sustain it. If we keep analyzing these subjects from such a superficial point of view, what we're going to get is very superficial and also very fragile. So let me show you my map of desire so that we can really understand what's going on. Okay. So this map actually is also the map that is a way in which you could map your purpose, your life's purpose. It's the same desire, purpose, whatever. So the middle is the essence of everything. And the further out, the more specific it gets. So my starting point is that actually what we all most desire is that center, is to feel joy, to feel good inside, to feel God in all its meanings, to be present. I'm going to put joy, but it's about the present moment, when you are present, when you are in ecstasy, when you are fully in communion with God, fully feeling love. Okay, I'm going to put this, whatever. Put whatever you resonate with the most. This is when you're happy. And the more specific, or one could say even, it's the core of desire, it's desire itself what moves life, right? The source of life. Anyway, so The further out the outer circles, the more specific, the more fragile it gets also. This is the essence, and all of these are manifestations, all of these are expressions of said essence, right? So, tracing back to when I was little, for example, when did I feel most alive? When did I feel most me? Which is obviously in the same way, in the same ways in which I feel also best now, is when I was, for example, laughing. Closer to the essence are more essentials, more synthesized versions of that desire, of that aliveness we felt. You will see when I finish. So, for example, near the essence, I'm going to put these general ways in which I felt good. Laughing, when I was the center of attention, so being seen. Dancing or music, maybe more general even. Music, listening to music, dancing, creating. Transgressing, like being cheeky. I like transgressing always. Okay, so next outer circle, I'm gonna put a more specific way in which I felt this aliveness. So, for example, creating micro theaters at home with my family, laughing with people, so in relationship with people, being seen, going on stage to dance, breaking rules by not dressing as I was told, whatever, like music, writing songs, like this, like that, whatever. So every time more specific, to the point where we could specify that my final ideal desire to be manifested would be that I would be, also I forgot, for example, like helping. I liked like when I was able to like hug my friends or whatever, but more specific could be helping people overcome their suffering. More even specific could be helping people overcome their negative beliefs about themselves imposed by a capitalist system, like more specific ways in which we have been kept developing our capacities to express ourselves and specific identity, let's say, in which we are expressing ourselves. So the most specific could be having enough money to be able to create my own art and being a recognized thinker that helps in that way and that other way, and creating a music that is a mix of this and of that, because this and that, being seen in that super specific way, whatever, right? So more specific. It's also more fragile because it depends less
on you.
Or let's put it another way, the closer it is to the center, the more capability we have to actually act on it. And the more it is in the outer circles, the further out it goes, the less control we have over it. Not to say we do have some, but the less we have.
By the way, I also forgot to say that you could start this map of your identity and purpose or desire the other way around. You could start writing on the outer circle your most desired external reality, your dream life, details and all, and then start synthesizing back towards the real meanings you think these external realities would be providing. What core traits are essential for you to feel joy, which is the innermost circle?
And also the less sustainable it is, because at the point of death, we go back. We actually cross this. So, in my understanding, this is the present moment, and we are acting on this expression of this perpendicular line that we cross when we die. But going back to this, I'm not saying we shouldn't go for the specific goals we desire. Also, the more further out, it's also the more influenced by the time in which we live, by our specific family, by our specific egoic, and the closer we are, the more soul-like probably have been enjoying this in all our different lives. And the more specific it also of course it goes without saying, right? But the most influenced by our ego and specific conditions that this specific life has given us, and our specific events that have happened in this life.
So I could, of course, go more in depth talking about what I mean exactly with this, and tell me if you're interested in it on the comments. But just very quickly, what I'm meaning to say in this part is that the circle closest to joy, to God, is our soul. They are our soul traits, and that everything around it is influenced by our egoic self that has been born in this specific lifetime. Nonetheless, we have to use them because they have been created with the purpose of us reconnecting them to the core traits of our soul. So, the family in which we've been born, the society, the times in which we've been born, the events that have happened to the person we are in this lifetime are all pointing back to the necessity of your soul to express its core traits. Your soul is also an expression of God. Ultimately, your truest identity is God. But in this manifested reality, we can only get to express sustainably our soul.
The more, as I said, the more fragile, because for example, even if you get fame, it's very easy to go back to lose it, whatever. Now we should go for these ones, but we have to always have them infused with the core one. So wherever we are, whatever we are able to do, we cannot lose this center. Because what we're desiring when we're desiring this is actually the center of this. This is our internal world. We will never get rid of our internal world. So whenever we got here, we will find ourselves back into our own internal world.
And that's exactly why you have to fix your relationship with your own self, because you will never escape having to face your own internal world.
Or do you think, like, to put a specific example, even if you got the fame, imagine you desire a specific relationship, like this. If you don't work on your limiting beliefs that are stopping you from being happy in the present moment, of your own patterns, of your own traumatized childhood, of your own low self-esteem, do you actually think you will get that? No, you will mess it up. Even if you got it, which I'm not saying, some people get a lot of stuff I've gotten in the past through brute force, but you suddenly realize that's not what you wanted because you feel shit anyway. You're not able to enjoy whatever you've gotten if you get it. So the point is, external reality may be limiting, and maybe we have to be stuck on this plane rather than on this that we would desire. But it's okay as long as it's infused with this. Actually, the precondition for having this and this being enjoyable is to be okay here. Maybe we don't have the capability because of our external situation to act on a specific ways, but we always have in the closer inner circle. There's always a capability that I can be in contact with music, if music is what makes me happy or helps me be present and feel also powerful and whatever it is. There's always a possibility of action, especially in the inner circle. All of this, all that isn't in the circle is illusion. All that is not in the circle is illusion that, okay, let's just explore this horizontal plane and have different experiences, but the purpose of having these different experiences is that we want to experience this one. All comes back to this. I want this specificity because I want to feel this, but if I want to feel this, then I have to realize I can feel this wherever I am. This is our internal world. This is the present moment. You will never get rid of the present moment. You have to sort out your trauma. You have to sort out your limiting beliefs. You have to sort out everything that's stopping you from being able to be present and to flow with ease no matter what. Okay? I hope This was clear. Seen from here already, manifestation looks quite different. And one realizes that it's not about forcing reality, but more so about taking responsibility of the part of reality which we do, in which we do have responsibility of. So rather, I think we should be focusing, a lot of us, on the practice of imagination. So rather than talking so much about manifestation, we should be talking about the starting ground that a lot of us need. Because if we desire realities that we haven't experienced because we've lived unhappy all our lives, it is hard to move forward. It is hard to move forward because it's hard to desire what we haven't experienced. That's why we have to train. And train, I'm not talking about more effort, more strive, more kind of brute force effort. I'm talking about learning of focus. It's a practice of focus, it's a practice of imagination. We have to train our imagination to create these new possibilities and to actually train ourselves to understand that even if we haven't lived them before, they are possible to manifest. So, to step out of these beliefs, these self limiting beliefs we've unconsciously imposed on ourselves, we have to step out of our experience of the external reality and go to the internal reality, to go to the infinite possibility of the internal reality and of other planes and dimensions. If I've only experienced something to be true under certain conditions, I create an unconscious belief, and keyword here is unconscious, that the reality of life is that exists only under those conditions that we have experienced to be true. A lot of people block themselves from joy. It is not that one doesn't desire joy, it's that one associates unconsciously joy with other things that are not good. So one is protecting actually oneself. We will always act thinking we are doing the best for ourselves. So that's when we have to question, okay, if I'm not doing what I want to be doing, if I'm not as happy as I would like to be, if I'm not writing as many songs as I would like to be writing, if I'm not, whatever it is, we are always working, thinking we are doing the best for ourselves. So, going back to what I was saying, a lot of us block joy not because we don't want to feel it, but because we think feeling it is going to come with a low afterwards, or a lot of people, someone will think whatever, or we're going to seem like whatever it is. One has to analyze and discover their own associations. But there will be bad associations with the word joy, and that's why we're not actually wanting it, therefore feeling it, or doing the most to feel it. Imagination is like a muscle. We can train this muscle, and to be honest, I think it deserves a whole separate video or many different videos, but just for the purposes of this video, I want to say about manifestation and the relationship with imagination that it all starts with seeking, searching for the necessary connections to create the picture in your head about your desired reality. And train ourselves to do this again and again, because hopefully this should keep changing as you grow and experience life and stay in dialogue with life and with the deeper intelligence of what the present moment and what it is bringing you. This desired reality should also keep evolving. So it is about getting back time and time again, dedicating the time, not more effort, just more time to seek and create in your imagination what you desire. And once it's done, act from that person that would experience that reality in your imagination. So you picture, you create the combination, the definition of what it's happening and why you would feel like you would feel in that way, and go back to it again and again, keep changing it, keep developing it, and act from the place. Live out this imagination. Dare to act. It's actually quite simple. It's more about being brave enough. If you infuse yourself with that picture, if you dedicate alone time, time and time again, to burn yourself, put yourself to burn in that picture, then wherever you go, the fire stays with you because you have infused and you keep infusing this fire, and so you can actually act from it. What decisions would that person make? Do them. That's why it's so brave, because people can know about this rationally, but to do them is to normally become much more confident. And what people don't realize is that we have to fake it till you make it, as they say, in the sense that if what we've learned is to not be confident, then being confident is going to feel uncomfortable at first. But we have to do it. We have to do it. And also, and here I think is something very important, maybe we can't act on the most external desires, but we can act on the closer inner circles always, to the point of being present, whatever happens, of joy in the present moment, of just pure ease, no resistance to the present moment. We can always act on it, on this. But even the closer ones, like maybe we can't be acting because our external reality hasn't caught up with whatever more superficial, more fragile desire we do have, but we most surely can act on closer ones. So don't avoid the responsibility on acting on them. Contrary to popular belief, manifestation should not be another tool for capitalism to control us. And also just a reminder that materialist people are not happy. And even if they are able to maintain it, to sustain a superficial happiness for some while, death will be the biggest obstacle. And they won't be able to just really transition peacefully. So let's remind ourselves to keep coming back to the center and to the presence of